2015 Scion FRS. This belongs to my friend Blake. I bought my Z off of him. My old red Z. So as most of the internet knows, this car's powered by a 2-liter boxer engine. It makes 200 horsepower at the crank, roughly. And people hate it for that. They said, why no turbo? Why no supercharger? Why no more power? But we got to remember, there were 2-liter turbo engines a few years ago that are doing 200 horsepower. It's like, oh my God, praise the turbo. Now we got it without a turbo and everyone's fucking mad. And yeah, it might be slow, but what Toyota's done is they've built a car for you to build yourself. And that's not like a cheap way of saying we didn't finish the car, but it's their way of saying, hey, here's a good blank canvas, do what you want with it. Make your own piece of art. So yeah, the power's slow and you have to wind it all the way up to red line to get all of it out. But that's part of the fun of driving the car, I think. Being able to go all the way to red line. And then do it again and row through the gears. And since it's a boxer engine, it handles really flat. Like, unbelievably flat. The weight's centered a lot closer to the center, so there's a low polar moment to the car. Handling wise, this engine, in combination with it, is probably a really killer setup for the track and autocross. And the steering's tight, even though it's an electric rack. It gives you a good amount of feedback, actually. It's super quick. It's really fast. I love how fast this rack is. The unfortunate thing with it having a good handling chassis but no power is there's never a passing zone around a corner. Oh, we're going second. Go! Oh, are we playing this right now? Can I do it? Yeah. See, that was a workout just trying to get through traffic. And we still got one more car ahead of us. Alright, so the method for passing cars when you got a passing lane coming up is start to build up your momentum like you're about to ram into them, and as soon as the lane opens up, then you can pass them. Yeah, I know. I was treating it like the Mustang still.
Oh yeah, no, you could easily go 100 right through here.
Yeah. This is like a Miata kind of how it's a momentum car.
Yeah, once you're going.
Keep your foot in it and don't touch your brakes. They said this has a little more power, so you need to use the brakes a little bit. I could keep it in here, huh? Yeah, no effort. You just keep your foot in it, come up to your braking zone. Try to get used to heel towing the car. And then you start to feel a little body sway. This car is stock for the most part, except for the TRD exhaust, so that's arguable if that's stock or not. Keep your foot in it, put traction at the rear. Yeah, giving it gas isn't going to break the rear end out. So keeping your foot in it will just put more of the traction bias towards the rear. Letting off will let you put more traction towards the front of the car. Oh, this chassis is so nimble. I love it. Just like the limits are so high for the car that it's begging for more power. It can handle it.
Oh yeah.
And we're not even on a sticky tire right now. We're on
we're on Fusions.
Fusions, cheap Chinese special.
Fusion UHP Americans.
Clutch grabs higher, which is nice for when you're trying to shift fast, because when the clutch grabs low and you try to shift fast, it's easy to misalign your timing with your shifts. But here, you just stamp the clutch pedal down, and even if you're halfway down the clutch, it's already engaged, you can still shift. I like the interior of the car. It's really unique. It doesn't look like anything else.
No.
Like these vents. Look at that. Look how it contours like that. The shape of that. That's really. I've never seen anything like that. This looks cool over here. The carbon fiber, and the dash looks cool. The shape of it.
But it's still basic at the same time.
And I like where your controls are here. Like it's a little panel board out of a jet put right there for you. And then we got Toyota ingenuity with this. Simple, no gimmicks. There's your climate control. That's it. Shifter feels nice, and since it's tall, it has this it's like really easy to accurately like pick a gear because it's taller, but it's still a short throw. And then these seats are awesome. Like, I don't know, unless you're like full out race car, I see no reason to change out the seats.
Yeah, no.
Because they look cool and they grab you and they sit you low. I would honestly like throw these seats in my Z if someone was like just trying to sell some.
They're actually brand new or very cheap seats. You can get a set of Scion seats for $400.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cheap. Really? I'm gonna go look right now online.
In my stitching pattern, yeah.
So touching back onto the subject of how underpowered it is, we gotta remember this is an 8.6. This is supposed to be the comeback of the original AE 8.6. And if you guys remember, it was very underpowered. And that's what one of the quirks were of the car. It was so underpowered, but it handled so well that the handling made up for the car. This is exactly what this car is. I would say making a predecessor of the original 8.6, this car succeeded with doing that. Even though it did it in a different way, it's still an underpowered, lightweight sports car that really relies on the driver and the chassis rather than the power of the engine. Sure, Toyota needed help with the engine from Subaru, but you know, they've been making Priuses for the past 5-10 years. They've kind of out of the sports car game. And that's what makes this a great driver car. You got to work for it. It really engages you into the car. A car with a lot of power is not much of a driver's car. All you do is set your foot to the floor and it goes. It does it for you. And then one thing people, even though I feel like this car gets a lot of hate, just on the internet, seeing a lot of hate, even though it's an excellent car. And that's probably why it gets a lot of hate, because it's so good. But remember the tuner scene before this car came out, the aftermarket scene was starting to die down a bit. Tuners were, less products were coming out. There weren't any cool cars to modify anymore because everything else has been done. Then this car hit, and Toyota's sales and Subaru sales went up. And now other manufacturers are going to start making cars to perform with this car. Meaning for us enthusiasts, we have a lot more cars coming for us to enjoy. And I think that's what this car really did that was important, was it revived the whole scene of the car enthusiast and the driving enthusiast. So next time you see an FRS or a B or Z or a GT86, just remember that and give it respect for that, because a lot of cars couldn't do that.